When is the best time to eat for fat loss? Now, there's a few myths around this, and they're not actually completely unfounded. So, food is not inherently fattening at certain times of day. When you eat something, it doesn't change how many calories it has in it. However, we're humans and not robots. So when we're looking at diets, we not only want to look at the physiology, that's quite basic. We know it's energy balance, we know it's calories in, calories out. We want to look at your behaviours. So eating at certain times of day can affect fat loss, weight loss, but not from a physiological side, more from a behavioural side. So if we take the example of not eating after 6 p.m. Your standard person might have a 9 to 5 job. They're really good during the day, they're structured, they take their lunch, they take a snack, they come home, they have a nice meal, they've nailed their day. Awesome. But they then sit mindlessly munching on some biscuits, watching TV, and that is what ends up ruining their deficit. And they don't even think about that. So it's not that they're necessarily hungry, it's just the food is there, they're sitting, and they just want a little something with a cup of tea after. That can really add up, especially if you're bringing in the whole thing of biscuits and before you know it, it's gone. However, if they'd set a rule saying after 6 p.m, or 6 p.m. is quite early, I'd say, but like after dinner, I'm not going to eat anymore. So I'm not going to snack anymore. So to conclude, when you eat doesn't necessarily matter in terms of our physiology. So you really want to focus on the fundamental, which is creating a deficit. So burning more energy than you take in. However, when we consider behaviours and habit changes, which is the key to successful dieting long term, rules that involve timing of eating can become important. So if you can identify when you're most likely to go off track, and for a lot of people that is in the evening, when they sit down and sort of mindlessly eat food. If you've set yourself a rule that you're not going to snack after dinner or you're not going to eat after 6 p.m, the reason that's benefiting your weight loss is because you're not taking in those extra calories. It's not because later in the day those calories will store as fat. And I think that's a common misconception that eating something before bed because you're then just going to sleep will mean that you won't burn it off. That's not true. The energy will still be there tomorrow and you can burn it off the next day. So, some people go the complete opposite way where they backload their carbs or they backload their calories, so they're eating their biggest meal in the evening. That works for weight loss as well. It's however you want to create that deficit. So the timing per se doesn't matter, but if the timing affects your behaviours in a positive way, then it can be beneficial.